Looky here. It's gotta be the ignition issue. See that tack dropping out? Every time we hear the engine stumble, the tack drops out. But the thing is that's not actual engine speed dropping out, that's loss of signal to the tack, okay? Look right here. The tack is connected to the coil through this little spliced in wire business right there. If I touch that, it'll shock me actually. So I think it's running more voltage through there than it's supposed to be. But this stumble business that it's doing is probably due to bad or faulty wiring or a bad connection somewhere. I just have to figure out how to find it. And I think that tack, I think that's the smoking gun, because the change on that meter is far more drastic than the actual change of the engine speed. And then that's gonna correlate to the actual ignition pulses at the coil. So we're losing the pulses at the coil. I don't know what's causing it, but we're gonna find out. When you accidentally fix something and don't know what you did, we have a 1995 Ford F-150 DXL package, Carhartt edition. She's got so many miles on the odometer. The odometer is broken. See that right there? I have no idea the mileage on this truck, but it's up there. And somebody felt this truck to be worthy of repairs because they pretty much built everything brand new on this unit. It came in on the tow truck with a no start, and I have found a brand new ignition control module. We have found a brand new ignition coil. We have found brand new spark plugs and wires and a distributor, which includes the camshaft position sensor. Spent about 4 hours probing this thing with meters, trying to figure out what's going on, verifying circuits. I was all over this thing. Out of frustration, I plugged it all back together, hit the key, and the thing fired up. Now, I'm kind of scared to shut it off because I'm afraid it won't restart, but we're gonna have to do it because I need to see what the issue is. I'm really not certain what's happened with this truck because it wasn't working, and then it was. Okay. That's weird. Wipers are wiping. Yeah, I'm not sure what that's about. We've got a whole pile of parts in here. This is all the stuff that had been replaced earlier. There's just boxes and boxes of sensors and coils and you name it, it's all in here. But I'm trying to figure out why this thing decided to stop running. Yeah, it was just crank and crank and crank, and now it's on. There's his wipers again. I really don't know what happened with this one, guys. Yeah, one of the last things I had done is I was checking for power and ground at the coil right here and right here. And with the ignition on, I had ground on both sides, but the actual ground wire was giving me like 170 ohms of resistance between the battery terminal here and engine ground over there. Now I found that's not the greatest. This wire's getting hot too. I think we have a bad ground connection between body or the engine itself and the battery. Let's test that real fast. All right, so we're low on battery clearly. Yeah, we're low on battery, but I want to get a visual on this. I want to show you guys that this cable is actually running hot because of the resistance running through this unit, but this guy's dying. Try to power back up, see what it does. Wake up, diagnostic thermal imaging scanning device. It should show a substantial heat difference and a heat concentration. Oh yeah, look at that. Massive resistance in that wire. Do you guys see that? That is the only ground wire running down to the engine block. And I'm out of battery again. So I'm not saying that that is the problem, but that's definitely a major problem. And we're gonna go a little bit in depth into more depth real quick. Like, yeah, that's what I meant, words. So what I found here, watch this. That's not very tight. That contributes to resistance. And this one, look at that one. There's more resistance. So what I'm gonna do is, since these have been tightened down, the daylight's tightened out of them and they cannot be tightened down any further, we're just gonna replace these things out. Now, I realize the proper way is to replace the cables that already have crimped ends, but doing this again is better than what we have right here. So I'm gonna replace these temporaries with another set of temporaries, and we're gonna at least try to get those resistance values down. My problem is when I was checking out ignition circuits at the ICM and at the coil, I was getting hundreds of ohms of resistance, which I followed all the way back through the block, through the cable, right up to here. And if we're not getting ground connection here, then all the other grounds are also gonna have a poor ground. Does that make sense? So we're gonna fix these grounds up real fast and see if that changes anything regarding this engine's operating status. So what we're gonna do here is unbolt. Oh, nothing, I'm good. I was talking to myself. So we're gonna unbolt these loose connectors like this guy. You know, it's copper wire, that's fine. We're gonna trade them out with some new ones that have not been smashed. If you over tighten these, they smash and then they're junk, and that's just not acceptable. So what we're gonna do is take these guys a little loose. I'm gonna do the same thing that we had just found this thing in. We're just gonna shove these wires in and get a better ground connection made. This is like a temporary permanent solution. That didn't work. Yeah. That on there. We need 2 hands for this. There we go. Whipped out a tripod real quick, threw the camera on that. Now, if this was the problem, I would put a lot more effort into this right now, but I'm trying to narrow down why the failure has occurred, and more importantly, how do I recreate it and find it, because I was having a lot of trouble figuring out what the problem was. Oh no, I made an error. The nut fell out of the bottom of this guy. Some of these terminal ends, the nuts are embedded in the lead, and some of them they're just kind of free floating around. See that? Nice and easy-ish like. Okay. Better than it was, not as good as it could be. Okay, let's make it tight. That's all we need, is just a little bit to squeeze ever so slightly. You see that? So that's in there good. That one's in there goodish. Yeah, if you over tighten.
Hey, when you got a second that choir, you bust it.
Oh yeah? Well, no. You open the door. What can I do for you?
Oh no, just for this truck, where would you recommend this? You want it on like tie rod?
Oh no,
No.
never tie rod. Hang on. Let's go down there and find out. Let's go help the youngin' get the floor jack over here. What are we doing? Here, scooch over some so I can see. You want to put it that over there. Put it, yeah, right under that control arms. All right. You see this part of the frame?
Yeah.
Put it on that same part back there, right there. You're like right on it.
Yes.
Yep.
Right there?
Yeah, right there. That's right on that cross member. That should be good. Don't forget your jack stand, sir. Because dying is not a part of going to work. Yeah, it's not fun. Exactly. See, this is why the first step of every diagnostic process is to make sure that your battery terminals are clean and tight, your battery's fully charged and in good condition. And if you don't meet those conditions, then all other diagnostic attempts are infutile, because you don't know what your powers and your grounds are doing. It hit the ground. I'm good. It would have been fine. That's just an 11 millimeter. I know. You're supposed to do it the right way. I know. Like I said, I spent hours tinkering with this thing and cutting corners. It's just what's happening. I'm trying. I'm so trying. This one we're gonna have to open it up some to make it fit. Stay. Okay. We'll find a screwdriver to pry that clamp business open a little bit, and then we'll get it on the terminal. Big screwdriver for the win. So rather than just hitting this with a hammer and shoving it down over, just take this guy, give it a twist, it'll open it right up. Then we can hit it with a hammer. I need some pliers to clamp down on that because the angle is wrong for the bolt to spread through. That's the downside to these types of terminals. And that is why these are temporary terminals. They're listed as temporary repairs. They're made out of lead. They're super soft and squishy. Lead is not a hard metal by any metric. In fact, we used to chew on it when we were kids. Remember the split shot fishing weights? I think they still have split shots, don't they? Plastic ones. But yeah, we were literally chewing on lead as children. Maybe that's what's wrong with me. I ate too much lead paint. I don't really believe there's anything wrong with a normal functioning human being. Product of my environment. Nature over nurture. I lacked nurture. There we go. All right, so let's fire the thing back up and see if it's still running with that weird misfire thing, but we're gonna temperature probe and resistance check those wires there and see if that made any difference in the situation at hand. Watch, it won't start now. That'd be awesome. Start with the engine. Still a little stumbly. Let's do some resistance checking here. That one can go there. So between the chassis ground and center of the terminal, we got 4 ohms. That's fantastic. So let's go from the terminal to the alternator case. That's going to test the resistance values of this ground cable right here. Look at that. 102 ohms. That's horrible. So let's check the exposed wire on this cable between the wire right here and the terminal. Okay. This is effectively just testing the copper cable inside. Look at that, 48 ohms. That's no good. So 48 ohms between here and here. 26, that's the best I got. 84 over here. There's resistance in this wire. What can happen is you'll see that exposed copper right there. See that exposed business? Well, this will start to corrode. That corrosion will migrate its way down the wire and cause damage to the wire's ability to carry current. And that's what we're having here, is increased resistance on this wire right here. Okay, so now back to where we started from. Why did the thing start to begin with? Because it was a no start. It was a crank no start for the past couple of days. I've been looking at it. Like I said, the only thing I had touched was a couple connectors in here. And for reasons unknown to me, after plugging them back in, they decided they were going to start to work again. So I'm wondering if perhaps some corrosion or some fretting or some kind of buildup on these pins is the cause here. Let's get a little closer. I'll show you what those pins look like. Because the last thing I had touched was this connector. Now the pins on the distributor side, those are good. That's a brand new unit, unless they're backing out, which I don't think they are. I can see all of them right where they're supposed to be. But these pins on this guy, not horrible. Yeah, I'm a little undecided. So let me show you something about this. There's like some kind of grease in there, and I'm wondering if that grease has hardened and dried up over time, and that grease has caused this issue. I'm going to clean out that connector, and I'm going to clean out that connector at the ignition control module. That's that guy, because they're all the same circuit. I'm going to clean those out with some spray, put it back together. I think I accidentally fixed it, to tell you the truth. We'll blast it with some electrical contact cleaner designed specifically for this task of getting that fretting business away. Just hose that thing down a little bit. Yeah, let it soak in there nice and deep like. Stuff is stinky. Yeah, leave that alone for a little while. Phew, nasty stink. And then over here on the ICM, let's get that thing disconnected and we'll hose that thing down too. Yeah, I don't think this thing has a failed component. It's got electrical resistance problems. That's the issue here. I'm pretty sure it's electron problems. Soak it in. I'll be back to this thing in a minute. Okay, challenge accepted. You guys said I wouldn't do it, so I'm gonna do it. This is day 2 of debadging and de-brand naming all of the tools in the shop right here. You said I wouldn't do this one because it was too new and I was gonna void the warranty. You thought wrong. Time to debadge another brand name tool. Yeah, so the first one was the Milwaukee tool. The next one was the Snap-on. Looks like we're gonna end up having to do all the Milwaukees around here, but I think, there we go, let's do another one. This is a unknown unit. We're gonna do a Matco one while we're at it. So it's gonna be a 2-for-1 today. You guys ready? Let us begin the debadging procedure. Now they're nameless and faceless. Why am I doing this, you may ask? Well, it's a long story. And now it's just turning kind of funny, so I'm gonna keep it up. Oh no! Gravity. Here, do it like that. Another one bites the dust. Today's a 2-for-1. We're doing 2 of them today. And just so you guys are worried about that warranty, sorry, warranty. You can't get them to warranty these tools anyway. There you go. No more warranty for me. And now for the bonus. Ooh, this one's stubborn. I'll get you. one's not working. Here, maybe this will work. Yeah, that should do it. We can't really tell what's going on now. Beautiful. Okay, I think we're done with the chemical dealio. Let's go grab some compressed air and blow all this stuff out and see if we can't make those terminals a little cleaner. Okay, let's take the blowgun here. The light. Wow, fail. Blow these terminals out. Plug it in. Whoa. Plug the ICM back in. There we go. So we're gonna flip around this direction. Get that other connector reconnected. See all that junk fly out of there? Ooh, I just put my arm on the radiator. That hurt. There we go. All right, let's hit the key again, see if it's gonna run. I don't know. Sure, it probably will. Fix it somehow. See, there's that stumble, which is not really abnormal to tell you the truth on these old 5.0s, but it shouldn't be doing that. Yeah. Well, the only thing I can really do other than throwing more parts at this, which I don't think we need to be doing, is to park it and start it all the time and see if this situation has gone away. I've either fixed it or I've not fixed it. But in order to get this thing to run, all I ended up doing was unplugging a few things. Then it fired back up and then we were good to go. So I don't know what I did, but I did something. What do you guys think? There are many, many, many millions of these trucks out there, or there used to be, and many of us have owned these and worked on these before in the past, and I'm sure somebody out there in the ether has come across this situation. So if you happen to be one of those somebodies, let me know in the comment section down below, what was your resolution to this problem? Because I'm a little bit stumped, and I'm hesitant to really do anything until I've got like that smoking gun to point at. So one more time, let me know about that. Comment section down below. Do not forget that like and subscribe button while you're down there, and most importantly, have yourselves a fantastic day. See you guys later in a short video, in a day, in a FIRD diagnostic attempt #1.